See, back doesn't hurt when I'm sitting down, but when I fucking stand up, he sure starts to talk to me. He starts to talk to me. In the back, he starts to talk. Alright, what are we doing? Oh, this is fucking 5 grams, 8 joints. Is that the last one for today? Oh no, this is CA Medical Marijuana ID card. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. Alright, we're gonna do this. We're gonna catch all this shit up. Let me think. Because through all the fucking story I was doing in advance, I have fucking filled up gaps in this. When I review these videos, I'm just gonna have to write out the narrative, the timeline, and fucking fill in the gaps or some shit. I'll figure it out. I know my processes usually work themselves into a coherent narrative somehow. So, I got this guy. Something to tap while I talk. What are we going to talk about? I was in Tribeca. I went into that room, and then I talked about that kid who had to figure out that problem. So yeah, just another example of like sometimes in real estate, I was like, oh, this. And then when I was doing that roommate matching, the roommate matching was like, it was like every other one was giving me a headache. I had a group of, so one of those kids who bounced, who was supposed to be with that kid who freaked out, and he worked at the Spanish consulate, and so I gave everyone back a refund. I was like, I was killing it. I was doing good enough that I didn't have to fucking delay it. So I was like, I didn't want any fucking bad blood. This is, at that time I thought I was going to do a startup. I had sat down with that roomie guy and I thought, well shit, this is worth money. I should, and I haven't even tried to sell these things. I still have it. Let me pull up the shit roommate matching. I still have the fucking brand and everything, so this shit might. I just am not trying to monetize. There's some stuff I put on the back burner while I try to figure out my life. Yeah, this is actually interesting. Share apartments. Is this even? I don't know how this looks. There we go. And there you go. Just basic website stuff. Oh, you know what? I got pictures of I got a couple of reviews here. Pictures of some of the groups I put together. Reviews. Aww. Fucking roommates that I put together. We were complete strangers, but within a couple minutes we realized all three of us shared the same desired price and location range, as well as similar Craigslist horror stories. Ha! Within a couple days we were approved for a real 3-bedroom with a huge living room. Best of all, a washer dryer in the apartment. All thanks to shareapartments.com. What did I say? Also, this has my money back guarantee. It's just hustling. I would, and this was a part of the trying to innovate your business. I'd be like, all right, so what are my lanes? How can I open up another lane? Share apartments, quick qualified connections. All roommates are screened using standards accepted by majority. All roommates are screened using standards accepted by a majority of NYC landlords. We researched thousands of listings to find the best available apartments. No questions asked, sublet and replacement services for the term of your lease. That was your money back guarantee. No questions asked, sublet replacement services. If you're not happy living there, I'll get you the fuck out of there. But that means that I have an incentive now to qualify you. So when the kid freaked out on the Upper East Side, the two people, it was a guy and a girl. So they wanted out. So I was like, I'm so sorry. And the girl was freaking out. She was entitled. She was like, well, you kind of like ruined my apartment search. And I'm like, I'm fucking sorry. Like, this isn't something I could control. Like, but you're the one who, I was like, I gave you back the money and like, I'm sorry. And she was just pissy. And I'm just like, all I can do is give you back the money and make it right. Like, I don't control all the factors here. And so her and the guy were talking, the guy who decided to not live with the kid either. And so I give him back the money, and the kid tells me that he loses the check or something. So I give him another check, and then 2 weeks later he cashes both checks. And I'm just like, the fuck? Yeah, I was back in the hostel then. That's true, because I remember when he did that and I was really pissed, and that was when the fucking Irish guy and the Puerto Rico guy were going at it. Because I was like, I remember sometimes like in the hallway of that hostel, I got this text message, and I texted him back like damnatio memoria, like fucking we're done, like whatever, like I'm not. I just like I know myself. That's what like you try to guard against your worst impulses, and like if I feel wronged in like my open conversations with my landlords and other people, it's like I only have so much bandwidth, and not that these are vendettas, but they're business. The landlady's business, the startups are business, even the Puerto Rico shit's business. It's money. But like the personal shit and the fucking relationships, like, well, I'm gonna fucking go to the Spanish consulate and say one of your workers fucked me over and fucking stole money from me. And like so I texted him. I was like, dude, you just stole $1,000 from me. And like I'm trying to get the fuck out of a hostel. These people don't. They see me as a broker on the outside. That's what this whole judging people. That's what like I catch myself talking about people I don't know. I don't know who the fuck Joe Rogan is. I see who he presents himself to the world. I don't think that's who he really is. Doesn't fucking I care about how his word affects me and other people, because some people have some bullshit ideas in their head because of him, but whatever, I'm gonna fucking deal with him on those terms. But him as a personal person, I don't think I want to get to know him, and I fucking don't know who he is. You got to be careful. Like I don't. You don't know people. You don't know what they're going through and this and that. But now when their word, well, that's the difference. The people in the public space. LeBron James is playing basketball, so like, why do I care what fucking he has to say and stuff, and other people? Not that I even have anything against LeBron. I just, character-wise, sometimes I wonder if I would fuck with people like this. But like Joe is a podcaster who claims he's an entertainer. No, dude, I've met a lot of people who look up to him, regurgitate the shit that he says. He needs to take more responsibility about his word. And he doesn't. And that's why he's getting people like me on his ass. So I'm going to fucking talk about shit that he talks about, and I'm going to correct my word, and then I'm going to go after other people's word who are in the public sphere. But that's one thing. But like as a broker, did this kid... So that's why I just built myself up again. Like when I'm talking out these emotions, I talk about something and it's like, woo. But fucking, this kid looked at me like a broker, like a dipshit broker who just conned them. But like, oh, you know, he just might be an asshole. Like I'm trying to give him credit. Like he thought I was, like that whole thing, like I lost a check, I give him another check. It's like, luckily it wasn't, this isn't like thousands of dollars. It was just like $1,000. I forgot why. It was something like, I don't know why the money was returned in such a way. I think it's that I rented out the rooms, I cashed them out, and then maybe I delayed it a little bit or something. But for some reason there was 1,000 lingering, and then he said he didn't have it anymore. And I was like, all right, and I wrote him another check. And then I'm looking like my bank account's fucking like down, and I'm like I'm living at a hostel in the time. So I'd lived in those rooms. That's what it is. So I rented one of the room, and then the other one I put just for the month, because in New York you could rent temporary places more than you can long term. So at that price point, I knew I could grab someone temporary for the month, especially down the street from a college and hospitals and shit. So that bought me the month to figure out this problem, because that's what. Also, Shaz swinging like getting out of the Tribeca place. Now I'm a free spirit. I'm able to plug up gaps in this shit. So when a roommate thing falls apart, I just jump right in. So that's what I did. I jumped in. It's overhead. I would be paying 1,000. I'm paying $750 at the hostel. This is 1,000. That's not much more for my own private room and not the craziness. And then fucking he yeah, and then the other one I got someone in there for a month, so that bought me the month. And then I ran a full ad cycle. I qualified people. I made sure that that's what it is. I had to take a step back, and this is why this is worth talking about even more, because it's like life lesson. I had to take a step back and be like, we gotta solve this the right way. Like I've multiple times in business, your character will be tested like this, where you could do things a shitty way. We can say the Mark Zuckerberg way, right? We're finding out a bunch of shitty things this guy does with people's privacy. I don't know the guy. I'd have to look more into it. But the guy, I suspected from the beginning, lacked character. Or you can be like, well, I need to solve this problem the right way. I need to get, like, that's what it is. It was, do I disclose this? Because I can't really even talk about this kid's medical history. I don't even know it. And the mother, who's a clinical psychologist, made sure to tell me that I didn't have to tell you my son's medical history. That's none of your business. It's like, thank you, lady. You're fucking, you're making it like impossible for me to fucking find him roommates, all right? So I just told them that the I just told him the son had a fucking freak out. I was just like, just know that this kid, it's his first time living alone, and he fucking, the first night he kind of freaked out. I didn't tell him it was a medical thing. I was just told him the facts. Fucking freaked out. So if you could be a little gentle with him, it's a great deal. It's still a great price point. That's why I rented these rooms. I would find an apartment with a great price point, divide it out. That's how I did the 5 bedroom. I would just do the math from my broker knowledge. I'd be like, that's a good deal. I'd jump on it and I'd solve that problem, because a normal broker, it's really hard for them to rent. They're just waiting for the 5 group person to come along. And then if they're trying to match them up, they don't have the skill set I have. You have to talk to a lot of people. It's really marketing. I know how to run large numbers efficiently to interview 50 people to find 5 people to live in a 5 bedroom. If you don't know how to run that system, there's a lot of different ways you're just going to be fucking spinning your wheels in the sand. You have to, and after doing it, you get better and better of just knowing who's wasting your time and who's not. So it takes a little bit, and it takes endurance and a thick skin. You have to fucking know when you're actually getting somewhere, when to call it and be like, this is just not worth my time. Like that 5 bedroom took me a month, but I could tell that we were getting somewhere. I could tell that the slots were getting filled up. So even like at the very end, 2 or 3 people dropped out during the process. But even at the very end, when we dropped the 5th and we still had to get the 5th, I could tell from the amount of people responding to the ads that we were going to get the 5th within the week. I was just like, and then you have to keep the other people warm. And that's another judgment call in business. So the roommate matching taught me a lot, but I was like, I stopped it because I was like, I need to fucking make money. And I only started making over 10 grand consistently a month after I tried the roommate matching for a year. And then afterwards I went to regular broker, and then I was like, fuck, I've been working way too hard for this shit. Like, but it was good. I guess that was like my fucking wrestling as a sophomore. Always wrestling people 15 pounds heavier than me. And then I finally wrestled people my weight, and I'm like, oh shit, I actually won a tournament and shit. I got a gold medal at some tournament. I was like, I'm used to being thrown around. I could actually I'm actually as strong as some of these people. I'm not just going out there to fucking be ragdolled. That was just my experience. But yeah, that was a lot. I guess Shaz sometimes does things the hard way, but you learn. Not always on purpose either, just being stubborn. That's what my first boss said. Douglas, he was like, you're gonna do a lot of things wrong because you won't know any better, but if you can learn from it, you'll be the better agent for it. So that's what I did, and then that's what he recognized something. He was like, I did it that way, but he gave me that one warning and checked my response. I was like, I kind of see. My mom said the same thing in insurance. I was like, how do I sell insurance? She was like, by selling it. You got your license, but they don't teach you how to sell insurance. She was like, that's what her Jewish boss told her in LA. You got your license, it doesn't teach you how to sell insurance. Now you got to sell it. You learn how to sell it by selling it. You learn how to do real estate by doing it. There's no shortcut. You just got to start doing it. And you're going to probably be shitty at first, so you might need some help. Ask a lot of questions. Don't speak beyond your ability. And that's what it is. You're just asking a lot of questions. So with the kid, I had to be like, do I tell people or not? And I told them. And I found the girl who fucking did art therapy. She was like, she loved the room, and she worked right down the street. And I was like, are you sure if he has an issue? I was like, you don't have to fucking, yeah, I said, and I gave everyone the mom's number. I said, the mom's a psychologist, call her whenever. And I had the mom talk to everyone. So I covered, that's what a good broker is. It's like, this is a problem, but it's not unsolvable. And that's why I became a good broker, is that when you step up to these things, and it's like, this is how you earn your commission. So sometimes they're easy. That's what fucking, was it Michael Lorber? His dad is the president of fucking Douglas Elliman, and I would watch this real $1 million listing. Those guys make money. Like, some of them are fucking bullshit, but they've seen a lot of shit. Time in the saddle is what gives you the experience and the ability to solve these problems. And he said, sometimes you make a lot of money for doing a little bit of work, and sometimes you do a whole lot of work and you don't get any money. It all is a wash in the end, but sometimes you do a whole lot of work and you don't get paid for it. And then sometimes it just comes easy. You just got to, every single time, try to be the best broker you could be. And all this shit isn't shit that people taught me. This is the same shit on the street. The same shit walking my fucking little baby nuts around Puerto Rico. And fucking being able to, like, live places that are very hard to live. Don't exceed your ability. Don't fucking, just try to be humble, be a hard worker, have a word, treat people right. People get to know you. You get to know people. That's all. So life was pushing me. I was like, fuck. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to hide it, but I'm going to handle this the best I can. I got that commission too easy. Now I got to earn it, earn that commission twice, and then got 1,000 of it stolen from me. So I was like, yeah, I got the girl. She was great. Everyone fucking. And then I got this Asian girl who fucking she loved it too, and she had her boyfriend move in with her. It's like the place, the common areas could have been better, but everyone was paying a bit of a tax since they were living with the kid and they were being patient with him. Then everyone took their liberties. The art girl fucking just loved that she was right down from the her work. She wasn't an art girl, but she had done therapy type shit in the past. So she was I couldn't have asked for like sometimes I just thought it was like this is like sometimes you feel like you're not getting any breaks and then sometimes you're like, all right, I needed a break. It's like I got someone who has literally dealt in a clinical setting with people with this type of issue, so I don't have to tell her the issues and she already gets what I'm talking about. And then the other fucking Asian girl, she was always at the hospital and shit. She was doing some sort of research shit, so she didn't care. Her room was on the other side. I just made sure she had thick skin, and that's another thing. I can't. Maybe this is the talking about stuff you can't really talk about. I couldn't really, so I just had to make sure she had a thick enough skin to make a judgment call. She's gonna be okay living here in case something like this happens. They told me like maybe once there was something, but like maybe he would have friends over. They had to talk to him, but they were good. So I solved that problem. And then the fucking little douchebag from the Spanish consulate was like, I don't, I was like, you. So then I end up back in the hostel. And that's when the Irish guy, Puerto Rican guy are popping off at each other. And I'm fucking like, the whole time I'm just trying to hustle, make money. That's what it is. And then I went to the Lower East Side. There we go. I think we got the narrative. Because I got that little memory. I don't remember everything. But that little memory of the fucking Spanish kid when he fucking cashed that extra check. And I'm trying to get the fuck out of this hostel. And then he's fucking like, so that's a double. Like the next month I lose another 1,000. I thought I shored this up. Oh, you know what I did is I took that commission and I bought my first laptop. Because now I remember I used that laptop in the Lower East Side. It was my first laptop I was using a little Acer $600 laptop. Dell Acer, a fucking tiny little guy, as big as this and probably as powerful. And then I bought a MacBook, not a MacBook, an Air, a MacBook Air. What a Mac Air, whatever the fuck they're called. This is my first Apple product. I don't even have an iPhone, I don't think, at this time. Maybe I do. But like fucking this is a big deal. This is like you've made it, Shaz. You have an adult laptop. Eventually I got a MacBook and shit. A nice one. Like eventually. I got a fucking $1,000 monitor, a fucking huge music producing monitor, 30-inch and shit. People come over to my apartment. Like I research shit. Just like when you have money, part of your fucking downtime is what's the next toy I'm gonna buy. Consumer is fucking shit. And then that becomes a part of your personality. Leaving that apartment was hard. Left most of my shit in the apartment. I easily left thousands of dollars worth of shit in that apartment. Hundreds of books. Just walked away with 2 bags. 2 bags, Shaz. Fucking have it. Have this life back in New York. I built it up and then just to throw it away. It's a sandcastle and the wave came. And Shaz was just taunting the ocean. The ocean says the tide is rising. And I was like, you ain't rising shit. And the ocean comes and knocks over my sandcastle. And I was like, I did that shit for fun. I got what I needed. I got the experience and I got the wisdom. Now it's time to build another one. They're just sandcastles. But yeah, I got that MacBook Air. And that's what hurt about that whole situation. Is the fact that like, when you step back and you're like, what should I learn from this? It's like, I shouldn't have spent that commission. I should have kept stacking for my apartment. And then that's what was harder to unwind. And I still unwind it, and I rented it all out, took one of the rooms, did all that. But now I'm back in the hostel instead of fucking moving from that room. Instead of moving from Tribeca into an apartment. That's what it was, yeah. The freak out. I don't really remember when I got the news of the freak out. But instead of moving from the Tribeca to an apartment, I moved from Tribeca into that room to settle that up. And then I also have to keep my business going. Crisis management while I'm keeping my business going. But I was just making enough to survive. That probably affected that month. And then I went back to the hostel then, so I had to take a step backwards. And now I'm feeling like, I'm trying to move up, and now I'm back in the hostel with that shit going on. And then fucking, what is, the hostel, the thing that bugged me, I didn't even care about that violent shit. They're not going to do anything. These guys are all fucking talk. But I walk into the kitchen, they're snorting heroin off the fucking kitchen table. So Shaz's hostel experience started as me hooking up with a British girl, giving all the girls massages, fucking in the bunk beds while the fucking girl above gives the dude blue balls. And we're just like, I made 4 or 5 really good friends that like, maybe like 1 or 2 of them I stay in contact with, but like that was like, after that I have old friends, but that was like probably at the beginning. I was taking that Puerto Rico energy, tourist energy, and the hostel was still giving me that. So it was a really nice segue into a New York lifestyle. But now when I went back to the hostel this time, hit up my fucking Russian godmother. I was like, I need you again. You got a spot? Yeah, always, you're good. But yeah, that was before she had the big dude. So I must have gone there 3 times. Because then when I went back, the girls are gone. I'm not getting any fucking girl energy. That's when the Italian was there, Miss Fat Booty. But she's fucking calling me an herb and shit. I'm probably too stressed out about work. Yeah, I didn't have money to fucking take her out, so I didn't go after that hard. And then, so I'm relating all this because I remember specifically when that Spanish kid fucking, I'm trying to get the fuck out of this hostel. And then there's 1,000 taken out of my bank account I didn't count for. And then that check's cashed that kid said that he fucking lost. And I have to speak it out to let it go. Because I let it go then, but like the emotions came up, so you gotta fucking release them. And I'm like, what the fuck type of person are you? Dude, I was just fucking blasting him on text. I was like, you just robbed $1,000 from me. He's like, oh, I don't feel good that you still made a commission off the apartment. That was his rational response. This is just a lesson in life. All these little life lessons. When someone's a dick to you, it's just like, there are people like this out there. And naive Shaz coming up in business. This is when I say New York seasoned me as to human nature and business and this and that, is I honestly didn't think he would do that. And then sometimes when my mom's like, why are you sweating my neighbor? Or why are you grilling people? Because I've dealt with some shit. Like, I haven't dealt with everything, but I've dealt with enough shit just to qualify people. Because that dude for 2 months, I knew him. A month, I got him in that, when I do the roommate matching, he stuck with me for a couple weeks to get the other roommates. So I had many conversations with this guy. I did not think that was in his character to steal $1,000 from someone. But in his mind, he justified it as saying that, I was like, I gave you your money back, dude. He was like, yeah, but it was an inconvenience for me, and I don't feel comfortable that you still made money off of it because you still rented out the apartment. I was like, so you feel like it's fucking justified for you to take $1,000 from me in compensation? I was just like, look at, he's a Spanish national. I'm gonna take him to court. He's a fucking... That's another thing that I would do for these guys. He wouldn't have qualified for the apartment on his own. He didn't have a social security number. So that's one of the reasons why I accepted the kid, even though he was a little bit goofy. I could tell that he wasn't fucking ready to live on his own. But the psychologist's mother was guaranteeing the apartment for everyone. She made enough money that she actually was the only one on the lease. So I gave her in writing. She was like, I don't want to be liable for strangers. And I said, I'll cover the rent if they don't pay. That's another thing that you learn about business. Don't overextend yourself. So I couldn't walk away from this if I tried. Because I'd given that psychologist in writing that if these kids don't pay, fucking... that's what it is. That's kind of like going after the business in such a way, you're just like, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, I'll give you this. And that's chess too. Some positions aren't worth defending. Some commissions aren't worth going after. It has to be reasonable, because some liabilities, that's how people trap you. They bait you, and then as soon as they get you overextended, then they flip the switch. And that's all they wanted from the beginning. The fucking extending credit continually to municipalities. They really just wanted to privatize some of these fucking things that the municipalities own. But the whole way they went in their country dumb. Oh, okay, well, I guess you could get more credit. I guess. They're looking at the end game. This is just fucking the opener. They're just trying to entrap you with this shit. So that's what that psychologist lady played me a little bit. She's like, I don't feel comfortable, this and that. I was like, look, I really wanted that commission. And then I got my first laptop off of it. I was thinking too far ahead. I had to slow down. That seems to be one of my issues consistently. So I was like, I gave her something in writing saying that I would fucking guarantee personally the rent of the other 2 roommates. Why would I ever do that? That's like afterwards too. I was like, why? Like, I understand why I did it, to get the commission, because we were so close. And she just was playing hardball. I was like, there's good people. Look, he works for the Spanish embassy right down the street, like the consulate. And she was like, no. So I did that shit. And I'm just relating to how, like, that Spanish kid, like, I guaranteed his rent. He didn't even, I think I told him that. But I put it in writing where my brokerage is. She said she wanted my brokerage. So like basically, if I didn't fall through on my guarantee, but she met me. She saw that I was a person of. I met her and her husband. Like when people meet you and they've lived in the world a little bit, you could kind of use your judgment. But then she wanted where I worked and other stuff too. She wanted, in case I didn't honor my word, to be able to fuck up my business. Like I saw what she was doing. She was like, I want a little bit on you just to make sure that I could come after you. I was like, I am who I say I am. But that's why when they freaked out, I'd call her. I'd be like, and that's another thing, learning how to deliver bad news. Look at the roommates dropped out. I'm jumping into motion. Don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. I already have people for this month. I'm going to cover one of the rooms. I got another person for the other room. And within 30 days, we're going to have new roommates in there. And I honored my word within 30 days. I didn't guarantee the new roommates rent. It was too stressful. This type of shit, when it all blew up, it was like, I'm building up maybe a year in the business, and then it's like existential crisis. I could lose all of this. I was like, so after I solved that, and that's another thing, another life lesson, all these little life lessons. Another life lesson was that you're not out of the woods yet. After I solve all that shit, get out of the apartment, after that 30 days, unwind it all. Like, I deal with this problem. That's what you have to step back sometimes. Like, after the initial shock, that's one of my benefits. Is like when I throw out my back, I was already thinking about solving it on the way home. Some people, like I've consistently, when bad stuff happens, when I lose queens and fucking chess and shit like that, I quickly come to terms with the new reality of the situation and start planning. Some people dwell on the shit, but I, like even this, I'm exploring my emotions and my memories for an art project, but like quickly I'm just like, oh, this is the new normal. Let's figure this shit out. Start fucking breaking it down into its component sections. I bought myself time first. That's the first thing. That's what I was like saying in those Reddit comments. If you could give yourself time, you can do most things. That's why I remember a quote. These last couple of years I've been reading business shit. For 1 year I just did like audiobooks about like Jack Ma, the Alibaba founder. I fucking did the Bezos one, the Google one, the Apple one, the blah blah blah. Genghis Khan. That's my favorite one. He's my favorite bureaucrat. A little bit bloody, a little bit violent, but if you want to talk about business tips, someone shot his ass with a fucking arrow. Shot his horse with an arrow, or maybe even shot him in the neck. And fucking, he went to the captured soldiers afterwards. He was like, who the fuck shot me with an arrow? And one guy fucking stands up and says, I did. He promotes him. He says, you're a fucking part of my army now. Because he's a character. So life is all about character. You're a very good soldier. You're ambitious as fuck, and you have no fear. And you know of me. Like he had a reputation. But like that's what two men looking at each other. Like we are on the opposite sides of battle, but two men recognizing that we are both rare on this world. People who are as skilled, and then also have the same character and conviction. To be able to be like, that was my action and I stand for it because I am who I am. Whether you're going to kill me quickly, slowly, I'm pretty sure he didn't expect a reward though. And they called him, his nickname was Arrow. They called him Arrow. But that's why that dude lasted the way he did. Not because he was violent. There's plenty of violent people in history. But it's because he promoted based off of talent and people respected him. Fucking, if you cultivate leaders and then set them free, now you duplicate yourself. That's what I was trying to figure out how to do in real estate. And then the ego. I was noticing a lot of the people I would hire, I was fighting good spirits and I was trying to duplicate myself, but then we were clashing and I was like, there's something in me. I can't blame it on them. I'm the chief, they're the Indian. I have to figure out what the fuck's in my head. So this is a part of that too. This might seem self-serving and blah blah blah, but like if I'm going to get at a higher level in business, I had to go inside for the debt. I wasn't handling my debt right. I was living paycheck to paycheck. So I was making too much money to be living paycheck to paycheck. I'm like, I'm smarter than this. So this is like, this personal therapy is to unwind some shit. Female wise, I think I was starting to get into some bad patterns. Yeah, so there's a lot of benefits to this. This is a whole living your value thing. That's why I like my fucking philosophy in life. What game are we playing? What are we talking about? Are we trying to be present? Are we trying to make the most money? Are we trying to fucking have the biggest ego? Are we trying to create art? What is it? I got pivots. I'm just putting myself out there. I'm not really saying what I'm doing. I'm saying what I'm doing, but I'm saying a lot of shit. But what am I doing? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. What the fuck are you doing? Why would anybody be watching this except me? I'm only fucking talking to myself. It's out there, but why the fuck would anyone else be watching? Why the fuck are you watching this? There's no fucking reason. What the fuck are you doing? Huh? What are we doing? What's anyone doing, right? So I think I have that problem solved. And then fucking that I'm in that hostel. I'm like, woo. And this is the first, that's why I remember, now that I've talked it up, I didn't even think I was going to talk about this, but now that I've talked it up, I remember how many emotions were attached to this, because that's my first existential crisis in business. That first time that I overextended myself to the point that I could have lost everything, my brand, my action. That's what stuff that I train other people on, like when I trained Shah, I was like, you want your client, that relationship as tight as possible, because they'll stick with you through everything. And then I tell these stories. And they see him because they see me go through these stories. I'm like, the fucking psychologist lady never sweated me. She held me to what I said. But I, up to that point, fucking had my word and honored every single one of my commitments. And she had a paper saying I was going to honor the rent. So she had no reason to doubt that. But I said, give me a month and I'm going to replace these guys. You don't have to start invoking that. You don't have to start calling my boss this and that. And she gave me that month. By the end of the month, I had new people. She more than fucking, I had her son in that place for 2 or 3 years. And every year she'd be wanting to, oh, so who are we going to get this year? And because kind of out of, not even obligation, but out of fucking like nostalgia, I would go back and fucking re-rent that apartment for pretty much free. I earned that commission like 5 times over by the time I was done with her. Finally, I was like, I'm on to other things. I was doing my system was so humming. I was like, I'm not, I realized how much I got taken advantage of in that situation. But sometimes, and then I realized her character too, that she was sweet, but she kind of, you realize that's the problem with that whole earnest sale. You could do the earnest sale like, I just want to work hard and earn your business, but you're going to run into some of these characters who will take advantage of your naivety. She had been around the block, owned multiple properties. She was a fucking clinical psychologist. She knew what the fuck she was doing. She burdened me with her problems and made me, but she taught me. So I have to thank her. I don't have any negativity towards her. She's a boss. A boss lady fucking just, she saw me running my mouth. She let me, and then she held me to my word. That's all you got to do in life. And then she taught me not to run my mouth and overextend myself. So she only made me stronger, but I cut the relationship. She was like, oh, I'm thinking about purchasing Manhattan. I'm like, how? I hope you find someone well. I kind of told her, yeah, hit me up. But I wasn't, in my mind, I was like, I'm not, our business relationship is done. You start to learn which types of clients you want in your portfolio. And she wasn't my type of client. Once character is shown one way, then it's not like she's going to do that kid thing with me, but like someone who's willing to do stuff like that. Like there's certain people I wouldn't do business with. Some people I wouldn't associate with. Some people I wouldn't want to be in the same room with. Shit like that. There's just varying degrees of my circle. I'd be friends with her. I talk to her now. I'm feeling really warm and fuzzy about her now because of all the nostalgia. But she's not someone I would do business with again. It is what it is. We unwound that. It's done. No liabilities. Fucking. So I'm in that hostel. I'm trying to get the fuck out of the hostel. Shit's starting to pop off around. And we don't have the fucking big bruiser. He came on later. Because these guys, like, she had this fucking, my Russian godmother fucking had like from 1 squatter to 5 squatters. Everyone wasn't paying rent. I was like, this place is going downhill. And so I remember specifically this memory. I'm talking to this fucking Spanish guy. And I'm like, what the fuck makes you think that this is okay, dude? Like, I'm thinking, what are my options here? Like, immediately, like, your street comes out. You're like, I could whoop this guy's ass. I know where he works. Like, I'm not fucking, I'll burn my whole shit down. Like, that's still an option. Like, you think I'm a fucking broker? No, I'll go to your fucking business. Like, we're both losing our jobs. I'll lose my whole career, but you're fucking, I'll go in there and then we'll have a big scene. I like that spirit. I've dated girls like that. They're like, no, they just tell you a story about how they went into an ex's job and fucking made a scene. I'm like, I like your spirit, but I kind of am very scared of you right now too. But that spirit, I like the wild ones. And I could be wild. I'm very calm, but like, you can't keep the company of wild ones if you can't get up too. Every now and then, like my army friends, other stuff. Like, you can't, like, if your friend's fighting, it's like, you can't be like my friends and fucking when I was young walking across the street. It's like, nah, their fights are your fights. Like, we can't have weakness in the pack. It is what it is. The police are like, this code of silence is horrible on the streets. What, you want us to fucking be more loyal to the police than to our friends and family? Fucking crazy. You don't keep us alive. Our fucking networks, our societies, our culture. The street keeps you alive. Police fuck with you. Serve and protect. Come on, dude. I've lived this life long enough. Come on. There's nice cops, and some of them mean well. But like the overall structure, how many experiences do you need? Bad experiences of cops fucking with you until you understand what the fuck they're doing. It'd be different if most of my experiences were good, but they're not. So fucking yeah. There's a reason why you don't fucking talk to cops and this and that. Because they don't do shit for you. There's a reason why JP Morgan Chase donated $100 million to the cops while we were in Occupy Wall Street. And then the cops came in and beat our ass. So fucking my parents watched these shows, NCIS, all this other stuff, all this fucking propaganda. I tried to talk to them. What are you going to do? It's like, what's the solution to that problem? Training. They're not trained right. They're taught that it's an occupying force and that everyone's an enemy, and they treat us like that. But that's the whole point. They treat us like that. They don't treat you like that. They don't treat poor people like that. They treat us. They treat, like, you need those experiences. If you haven't had those experiences, you don't understand. You need the experience of just knowing, oh shit, here we go. It's fucking, you just know what's going to happen. You know what the attitude's going to be like. You can't be a normal human being. It's fucking, here, I got a story. Fucking, and then we're going to go back to the narrative because I just remembered. I have to close this out. I have to close out the Spanish Kid or my mind will keep looping back to it. I've done enough drugs to know how my mind works. Like with these fucking like ego loops and shit. This emotion needs to be closed out, put aside. This is why I do it. I make my peace. We're done. He goes to the back of my mind again. I haven't thought about these people in a minute. But since we're doing this narrative, we're pulling up all these old emotions and shit. Fucking therapy is a bitch, right? Because this kid is like out of the people. I wasn't even angry at. That's how it shows you my values. British girl, I didn't even fucking get angry at my roommate for that because I know she could take care of herself. Like she felt uncomfortable, but like that girl grew up in some fucking sketchy ass parts of London. Like this dork from New Jersey wasn't gonna. She was heartbroken. She wasn't threatened. I abandoned her. That's what hurt. She would have fucking ripped this dude's nuts off. That's fucking dork. But the Spanish kid stole my money while I'm living in a hostel trying to fucking come up. That was like a kick in the nuts. I was like, I didn't see it coming. I thought we were, just that's what it is. The nice ones when they get to you, and it's just like, and that's what I told him, it's a fancier way to just say fuck off. But I was like, damnatio memoria or something. Back in Roman times, ancient Greece, not probably Roman times, the worst punishment they would do to someone is erase them from memory. Erase them from history. They'd basically, if they had any statues, erase them, erase any record of them in history. So we don't know any real, we have some records of people they did it to, but obviously didn't succeed because we have records. We don't know the people they did to successfully. But in an honor culture like ancient Rome, which is more street than nowadays, more closer to the wild because you have the wild surrounding you and shit, so they have to have honor and integrity and shit like that. The farther away you get from the wild, the farther away you can get from natural expressions of human behavior, I believe. And then that's where you have all this artifice, where you can have a fucking bullshit artist like Barack Obama become president, or like Trump. Trump is just a poor man's Obama. Idiot's Obama. Obama has no word or character, hasn't displayed it. Came in with a bunch of promises, didn't deliver. Broke up our Occupy Wall Street protest and then says, we've been waiting for you, we got your back, to the protest in the street for Trump. He used the fusion centers to break us up, which are the fucking corporate, federal, and local municipalities all getting together sharing intelligence, some of which had plans to have snipers being used on us like they did in Ukraine. What fuck type of word does that man have other than being a corporate broker? Joseph Biden wants to run for president. He's a corporate broker for the credit card companies. These fucking people with their heads up their ass, and you're supposed to respect them. They won't fucking last a minute in any industry where you have to be judged by your character in an open market. Fucking, what life skills do they have other than being shills? They're comical. They're comical fucking imitation men. Imitation fucking people. Hillary Clinton was against fucking, was it equality for gay rights and shit. She's the purest, cynicalist, most cynical form of power for power's sake broker. There's what defining traits does she have that are good other than maybe being a mother And fucking, I could think of something. She reminds me of my mom in some ways, but that woman, the greed fucking drips from her eyes and her fucking carnivorous teeth. They all have these pearly white smiles with the wide fucking wide grins like jack-o'-lanterns. Fucking soulless human beings. Everyone trying to play King of the Hill, climb the mountain, while the world goes to shit. They just want to be the last one. The last one fucking standing on the deck of the Titanic, etching their name into it, claiming that they were there, that they were the best, while the whole ship fucking goes down. And the lifeboats are all burning. Fucking morons, fucking clowns. It's fucking, that's why we don't, 2/3 of the population don't vote, because you don't inspire them, because you're not normal human beings, and the rest of us are living in the real world, where you live and die by your character. And fucking Nancy Pelosi still trying to play King of the Hill. So this kid, so I recognize that, my politics, and then I recognize that in the real world. I'm like, oh. So that's my way of like, just like the anarchist kid, just like, he wasn't, I never saw that kid again. I really thought about for like a week. Like just when I was in Puerto Rico and I had my beefs, I'd be like, steaming, just walking down the street, just steaming. Just when you feel like someone's taking advantage of you, just some people get fucking, I don't act on it, or else I probably wouldn't still be here, because you get fucked with enough in life. You only have so much energy. What, you're gonna fight every battle? You gotta be smarter than that. So I've never really had a short temper, but I'm a sensitive people get upset. I just am smart enough with women too. Addie, I got mad that she lied to me. I chased her in a car. I looked crazy. That was the first lesson right there, is you can't act on those emotions. That's suicidal. And then I saw a video this last year. Some kid got shot doing that, chasing his girlfriend. He thought it was his girlfriend. It was an Uber with a different girl. Uber was a police officer in training. He ran up to the car with a phone in his hand, saying he had a gun. That was enough. The Uber driver shot him, killed him. It's like, that's my spirit. That's us, the fucking emotional people. We have the ability to wild out. So if you don't develop an ability to process your emotions and filter them to those higher states of wiser compassion, you're just going to quickly run into a wall on this whole world trying to get us agitated. The whole world just scan us into more and more excitable states. So early on, I knew if I wanted to get that higher form of love, women like Addie, good women, fucking, we're going to hang out soon. She could talk to me away from her fucking boyfriend. He has too much fucking, tries to get too much into shit. I like talking to her away from that shit. Without giving her advice. Not tell her fucking to do anything. I've learned to not give advice about relationships. I just don't want them fucking over my shoulder. Yeah, no. I try to like make it clear that fucking door is closed. Just like the Boston girl at the hostel. Just, I have an intuition when I should be friends with people, when I can't. And sometimes the girls do too. Sometimes the girls do it for me. They're like, Shaz, that's not really what we are. I'm like, yeah, I'm just being stupid. I'm getting better at that. I'm getting better at embracing my loneliness and my solitary nature. The way I put it in this other video is really good. It's that even with Dancer Girl, I had the NYU girl in the background. So I need to start a relationship actually being single and not do these fucking half in one relationship, half in the other. That's not honest. So that's the new thing about this new relationship. I'm going to be actually single and do it from the ground up and build a good foundation of honesty, trust, all that fucking bullshit. So, make my peace. I was done with the Spanish guy. The memory is damnatio memoria. And let us never speak of him again until I go back to these videos. I was in that hostel when I did it. I was just like, that's some cool ass shit to say to someone. Done. Blocked his number, everything, fucking whatever. He stole my money. That's your story. I think I said that also because I didn't want to I knew I was like, I'd be tempted to put him on blast. Like even right now, I knew eventually I'd speak on my life, and it's like, I don't want to fucking dig up his name or some shit like that. And I could probably find it actually, because I have that email address still for all the fucking share apartments. But no, that's what it is. If you have a word, you start correcting yourself ahead of time. Like I head off that fucking bullshit, that petty shit. In the moment, I quickly say, no, Shaz. Spray myself with a water bottle. Say, just let it go, Shaz. You gotta. If I didn't have that on my shoulder, then And then still, I probably fucking every now and then get up on something I shouldn't get up on and actually act out. Every now and then you gotta fucking, every now and then you gotta swing to make sure that you still know how to swing. You gotta fucking, every now and then you gotta roll. There's some grass outside if you want to roll. Grass out front if you want to roll around. Because otherwise, if you don't got that spirit, then you fucking, people got to know that like that's still an option. Even in business. You gotta be like, this one fucking broker. I want to get to this point. I got more hours. I got 12 hours. And the broker I was talking to later on, this old head fucking Vietnam vet, crazy ass motherfucker. This guy's insane. This isn't a guy I would be in the same room with anymore. And I let him know that. I got a way of fucking intuitively managing my energy. Renting an office space in a shared workspace. And he gave me enough bullshit. He got kicked out of there for being drunk. And I loved him. I loved him because he's a wild, crazy cowboy. But I was enough with his shit. I was working. He tried to come out with his bullshit. And I was like, why are you here? He was like, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't even fucking do the blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay, you're not going to answer my question. All right, I got it. That's what we're doing. And then I fucking ignored him. He walked out. He got the fuck out of there. I wasn't doing his fucking bullshit. I said, why are you here? Because I knew he had been kicked out for being drunk. And then he tried to fucking New York bullshit me. And so I just fucking, I moved it. I asked you a question. You didn't respond. So now I'm shutting this down because I don't have time for bullshit. So I said, oh, okay. But I said it in such a way that you've now disrespected me. I said, oh, okay, you're not going to answer my questions? Is that what we're doing back and forth? Looking at him in the eye. Because he gave me some shit when I first met him. Telling me some fucking Vietnam War stories. You know that fucking, a bullet will do this to a man, and blah, blah, blah. I'm just staring him in the eyes. I'm just like, yeah, that's cool, dude. Very nice, because I was earnest. But, like, that's what it is. These are gears. The earnest sale is a nice gear to have, but you have to know when to switch it to different gears. So I was earnest with him the whole time he was telling me stories, and he told me some crazy stories. He was at a club, because he made real money. That's the shit. He had a lot of things that I have. When we talk about money, I had pictures of my paychecks, so whenever people try to bullshit me, I just pull out my phone. I'm like, oh, this is what I made last month. That's why I put up that tax return. I was like, no, I am who I say I am. You're that other guy, right? Yeah. That's cool. All right. He was, I told him, I was like, we were talking about broker, and I was like, yeah, you gotta have some money in your pocket. It's like, oh. Sha came to me. She's like, Shaz, I have a client, but I don't have any money. I'm like, here's my credit card, or here's $100, dude. Don't fucking go out with a client with no money. What if he's hungry? What if you have to take a cab somewhere? You never want to be in that position. You're trying to earn $1,000, $2,000 paycheck, and you can't pay $20. That's why I never got into sales, because I hadn't figured out how to put away 20, 30 grand. How are you going to get a listing and then you don't know how to furnish it? You get a listing, you told them you would sell it, and now you're going to be cheap and you're not going to stage it right? You don't know what the fuck you're doing. That's what, like, when I spend $100 in cabs on someone, like, they know that I'm making money, because I'm like, what, you're not going to fuck me? As soon as they don't take my cab, that's when they're going to fuck me. Every single person who's turned me down for paying for something has walked away from the deal. It's not that everyone I paid for has closed, but every single person who's made it an issue has walked away. It tells you something. As soon as they make it an issue, that's an indicator you start to pick up these things in your industry. That's why I do it. It's worth my money just to fucking see how they react to it. We're in the cab, we're leaving. I'm like, I got this. It's a business expense. I'll write this shit off. But that's not why I'm doing it. I'm looking at them. I'm looking for tells. We're playing poker. Human behavior. I'm trying to figure out if you're trying to fuck me. That's what, by the end of the fucking brokering, I was figuring that, like, this is part of the intel side of me. This is just me reading people. I'm just trying to, the sooner I read you and figure you out, as if I get enough tells, I walk away. You start to develop instincts. Looking at people's eyes, fucking talking to them, how you talk to people. So by the end of my brokering, that Vietnam vet guy, I was going to bring up, so he was at a closing. Well, before that, just to give him his character, Shaz. I was like, yeah, you need some money to fucking, you can't walk around with no money in your pocket. He pulls out 10 grand in cash out of his pocket. This dude was who he says he was. He had problems. That's why I let him know. I was like, I don't want your problems. This is a place of work, dude. That's what I said, why are you here? He knew I was getting right to the heart of it. Why are you here if you were told not to be here because you came here drunk? That's why. If you don't answer that question or that line of questioning, you're trying to bullshit me. And I'm not fucking trying to bullshit. I'm busy. I'm trying to work. We could have that long of a conversation, but I didn't have to. I got to the point and I ignored him. He felt my energy. He walked the fuck out. He was across the street talking to the fucking locksmith across the street, probably talking shit about me, trying to politic and everything. You do whatever you want, dude. You know who I am. I've shown you who I am. I was nice to him while he was there, but as soon as he was persona non grata, kicked out by the business, we flipped. We're the other gear now. It's like, we'll be nice on the sidewalk too, but now you're fucking with my business. That's what they say in Puerto Rico. What is it? Don't fuck with people's beans. As soon as you start fucking with someone's income, their money flow, yeah, there's gears. There's different gears, different conversations. Shit's gonna fucking. The people don't have much. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm trying to survive. You don't take food out of your children's mouths. You don't take food off of people's plate. You handle your shit. You could be as crazy as you want. So yeah, he pulled out 10. This was a legit broker. He's just old and crazy and wild. And I loved him for that. We would sit late at night in the shared office space talking and shit. I would go in there. He'd have his girls fucking. That's anyone in New York who's been running for a minute and had some money in their pocket, got their girls, the fucking drug girls, their fucking BDSM girls, whatever. There's a scene there. There's always a scene. He had his junkie girls, whatever, but I show up and there's some girls just hanging out, dancing with him. He's kind of a slobby fucking older vet, but like he just knows how the world works. It's like I had a locksmith go and give me my ignition was fucked up on my Honda Element, and he's fixing it. We're just talking about life, and so we start talking about cocaine and whores. It's just people live in the city and they just got stories, and like even if they're very mild mannered, they might have done some shit. So like this fucking Vietnam vet, that's what New York is. It's like any of these big cities. You know how to get in the shit, and so he knew how to have his fun. He never had to go home. If he wanted to have an all-nighter, he knew how to do it. And I knew it. I was like, I dipped my toe in that. I peeked my head into that door. And so when he pulled out that cash, he let me know what type of person he is. It's like, no, we're men of action. We're not bullshitters. And it's also like my friend in the army used to play this game. Big bank takes little bank. It's like as big bank takes little bank is where like you pull out the cash in your pocket. Whoever has more cash takes the other person's cash. It's kind of a funny game to play, but it's like, what type of person walks around with a lot of cash? There's a certain type of person. This person's walking around with 10 grand in his pocket. He has a gun in his car. He has something in his car. Maybe a gun on him. But he's walking around like it's like the fucking diamond dealers in Midtown. It's like some people in New York, I'd walk around with over 10 grand in cashier's checks on me easily. Doing lease signing, running shit around, but the cashier's checks. I wouldn't really walk. I walk around with a couple grand on me. But that dude, that's what type of dude he is. He's like, when you got to solve problems, you got to solve problems. And he's just ready to solve problems. But that's what we were talking about. We were talking about real estate. And I was just trying to suck up that experience, just sharing war stories. He had war stories from me. So that was the point. I forgot why I started talking about that. Oh yeah, that gear. That you want to keep a little bit of your grit, a little bit of your street, be able to let the bristles in your neck stand up. Be able to lay, that's what two-bag Shaz walking around the streets of New York, just making sure that I haven't lost my ability to go bore, let the tusks grow out. That's what it is. Getting picked on in fucking Brooklyn, people fucking with me. I'm like, have I lost my ability to sense danger? Fuck, I should have seen those kids coming up on me. Fucking, or ignore them, what the fuck. Anyway, so like he says at a lease signing, the client tried to fuck him at a lease signing and didn't try to change the terms or not pay him or didn't have his check. I'm not recommending that he do this, and this isn't who I want to be, but this is who this Vietnam vet was. He dove across the table and they fucking fought the dude right then and there. And he fucking with his money. He did all the work and the dude was trying to fucking pay him not the agreed amount. Maybe he was mad at himself. He didn't have the right paperwork, because if you have the right paperwork in the contracts, people can't. It's bound. It's a contract. You signed it. This is what we're owed. You're not getting the fucking real estate if you don't pay me. I'm in between you and the real estate. So I don't know how. He was probably more mad at himself. But he dove across the street. He was laughing when he told me this. He was like, we're at closing, and this guy tries to fuck me at closing. And he was my client. And I dove across the table, tackled that fool. I was like, you're crazy, you're wild. He was like, and we still did the deal. He was like, we're still friends to this day, but nah, that's money. That's fucking. I was like, no, so he understood when he came to the business, and he was trying to like bullshit me. I was like, basically, you're not supposed to be here, dude. Get the fuck out of here. That's what it is. It's businesses. We all abide by the same rules. I wasn't trying to outrank him, or I wasn't trying to fuck with him. I never really talked to him again, but his life was too wild. I don't want those problems. I hooked up with the secretary there. I could bring that up. He was fucking the secretary there. She was only fucking 17, 18. She's probably the youngest girl in my New York run that I fucking. She's all strung out on fucking heroin and speed. It was fucking horrible. And we would always like flirt. She was a beautiful artist. She was a beautiful person. I need to look her up, find her email, make sure that she's still alive. Dating fucking gangsters, riding on the back of their motorcycles. Fucking brought one of them back to the office. We're after hours, and I would work late anyways. No one else is in there. And then fucking, she's like, "Is it okay if my boyfriend comes?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care." Fucking, that's why we hooked. I was so chill. We just one night we're hanging out. We went, got some drinks, went back to my apartment. I had a goofy ass mustache at the time. I was like, "I don't mean to be hitting on you. It's a mustache. It's not me." So the whole time we're making out, we're having sex. She's like, "It's the mustache. It's the mustache. It's not you." Stupid shit. That's when I wore a condom. I was like, if I'm fucking, because I knew her problems by then. But she was lonely and on and off again with the boyfriend. And I was like, but that's another thing too. So you learn with the young ones. It's like, why do you want to be a mentor, fucking teaching everyone? But the reason why I would still, is that she was an amazing artist. Like legit. Like some people are legit. She was like talented. And that's what her problems were. That's what I'm finding. These broken women, young women, they just don't have, like, I've dropped her home. I would drive her home. I met her parents. Maybe her stepdad was a little funny, but her mom was beautiful. She was she had a good family. She had a good home in Brooklyn. She just was making bad decisions. And if we could integrate these people more like into a creative society or something, but she didn't have incentive to go to school, to do anything. So she was chasing the cool. Chasing the bad boys, motorcycles, and the fucking. He comes by, and I just knew this dude. It's like one of those dudes that I'm like, yeah. He's looking around the office, and I'm just like, he's already fucking thinking. He's already thinking in his mind, what could he do? Those thoughts are like the fucking, like, his little window pane, his eyes come up and just looking at the fucking, is there anything I can do here? Come up on this office. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it was just more like, this isn't me. He was a cool dude, cool tattoos, cool bike. Didn't show me any aggression. I was chill with him. We talked about life and shit. But he's definitely on a certain track. I don't know, maybe people like that make it out. He goes clean, she goes clean, and it turns into love. But habits make it tough. That heroin becomes a primary thing. Sometimes the lovers, they say that love is more important than the drug, and they both help each other get out. But he was definitely playing big boy games. That's not someone I wouldn't want to be in the room with that dude. Unless he's getting clean. I think I can help people if they want to get fucking on the straight and narrow, but the associations you have in life, they're commitments like anything else. Your word. What happens when you have to honor your word and it's committed to you some shit that, like, it's a commitment. Some drugs easily done aren't easily dropped. Some friends easily made aren't easily unmade. I know because I've seen them growing up. I've seen my friends, people, make associations and connections and commitments, affiliations and stuff. No. I've seen and heard of. I've walked in between worlds, never really belonged in two worlds. Well, now I was in the world of the rich. Now I'm the translator. Shaz, the translator, the man of many worlds. But that girl, she jumped into one. She jumped into a world deep. I mean, just her boy. And he was a nice kid, too. He was smart and tough, like really tough. Like, I like when I met him, I was just like, I was the type of guy you stay facing. He had like that energy, that young man fucking energy. It's just like riding a fast motorcycle, that's all you gotta know. Fast motorcycle with his girl in the back in the rain. He's pushing life. Addicted to adrenaline. And smiling the whole time. That smile. The Joker smiles. Joker smiles of the fucking crazy young male energy. You just see it coming a mile away, and you just I don't know. You think of it like when you're older, you're just like, this is crazy behavior. If you live long enough to tell the stories, when you're old, you think back of all the crazy shit you've done. I've done some shit. I haven't done crazy shit. Plenty of people with a lot more exciting stories than you, Shaz. But we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere.